Hi, good morning, and welcome to Inside South Florida. I'm Dave Azer. Today, he's one of the greatest musicians out there, and he's in South Florida. We talked to Phil Collins about his music and his foundation. Plus, a South Florida business expert gets you ready to dominate the universe in 2014. And we'll give you a great idea for something really fun to do on Christmas Eve. That and more as Inside South Florida starts right now. Well, are you looking to start a new career in 2014 or maybe just do a better job at your job? Well, best-selling author and South Florida business maven Troy Hazard is here to give you some expert advice. Troy, it is awesome to have you on the show. Although you have broken the first rule of my show, the guest is never allowed to look better than the host. That's unfortunate, but we will press on anyway.
Thank you.
Looking sharp, my friend.
Yeah, good.
It's good to have you here. So we're going to talk business. We got a lot of really cool, fun, exciting stuff to talk about. But
sure.
I guess by way of introduction, this is pretty cool. You have founded and nurtured 11 businesses in the last 20 years, and I looked at them, and they're all diverse. They're all you're a busy guy.
Some would say cool, some would say crazy.
Okay, yeah, sure.
No, it's been a checkered career. I was in media in Australia, and I walked into my boss one day and said, "Hey, listen, I'd like a bit more money." And he said, "Well, how about a holiday?" And I said, "Great." He said, "You're fired." So, so I ended up out in the street, and we started renovating property, and made a bit of money out of that. Then started investing in broken businesses, and turned them into things that we'd actually resell. So it worked pretty well.
And you've had it's been sort of like a roller coaster for you, right? Like you've made the money, you've lost the money, you've made the money.
Yeah. I think in the early days, you really don't know what you're doing. I used to get up every day and figure if I just worked harder, it'd be okay. But the reality is you had to go and learn things. So once I started going to conferences and listening to people and reading books and things, I started to understand what I was supposed to do. And we made less mistakes. But in the early days, I made some absolute classic mistakes.
Yeah, well, hopefully after the course of this interview, some of our viewers won't make some of those mistakes. Yeah. Hopefully. All right, so not only did you read a lot of books, you managed to write one in the process.
Yeah, that was a bit of a labour of love. I've had a couple of books. This is the first real business book. The first one was a bit cathartic. It was about a bit of a life change for me. But this one has done very well. It's an Amazon bestseller. And for me, it was more trying to share some of the real stumbles. So to your point, people wouldn't have the same problem, because I figured if I could, share some of those things, then it might just save someone a bit of money.
All right, so let's talk about some of those things. First off, what is future proofing? What does that mean?
Look, for me, it was, I suppose, a moment in time about 7 or 8 years ago where I realised that I needed to really consider what we'd done in the past, apply that lesson to the present to really understand what the future looked like. Rather than just waking up saying, "Oh, I've got goals, I've got intentions, I've manifested this stuff in life and it's all going to be good." And I think in life we tend to go through good times thinking they're never going to end and forget bad times really quickly. And so in 2008, everyone has a bit of a tumble, the economy shifts, and we look at it and go, "Wow, I'm glad that's over. That'll never happen again." But if you look back in history, back to the Depression, it happens every 7 to 10 years. We just forget. We get caught up in the ride when it's going good, and we forget about it really quickly after it's been bad, because we want to, get beyond that and get on with life again.
What's that great quote? Insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we do a lot of that. I certainly did. I went through a recession in '87, lost a bunch of money. Did it again a few years later. Went, "Oh, let's not do that again. That really hurts." So
that's no fun.
No, by the time I got to the tech wreck, I was kind of in front of the game a little bit and managed to get into technology after the bubble burst, and we did okay out of that.
Do you think that people have a hard time, by and large, doing self-evaluation, like really sort of honest, brutal self-evaluation?
Yeah, I do. I think what happens is we like to write down plans and goals and things, but the reality is, we don't look deep enough as to what the real problem is. And lots of times it's ourselves. It's not the influence around us. It's not the economy. It's not the city or the country you live in. It's actually the way you lead your life.
But that can't be, the problem can't be me.
Yeah, no, not at all.
That can't be right. It has to be somebody else's fault. Come on, man.
I'm sorry, man.
All right, so this is great. So as the year comes to an end, you have some tips for people to future-proof themselves and get an edge in 2014. I guess we have 5 tips here, so if you want to just kind of hit them one at a time.
Yeah, sure. What we do every year is we sit down at this time and go, "Wow, the year's done. I'll get a chance to breathe for a few days or maybe even a few weeks." And we launch back into the new year with this great group of wonderful things we're going to do. And then come end of January, the whole thing drops off. My view is if you want to make some New Year's resolutions, start now. If you've already made the conscious decision you want to make a change in your life, why wait till January 1st?
Yeah.
Because you've already told yourself you're going to put it off. Because if you wanted to get going, you just get busy.
We got a couple more to hit. Create a culture of conscious change.
We have a thing in our business where it's not just about shifting it from here to here. That's not change. Change is not an action, it's a consciousness. So every day our guys would get up and we'd try and push them to think of different ways to do things. And in fact, every morning I'd have a meeting with my team leaders, and the 3 questions I'd ask were, how'd you go yesterday? What did you achieve? What are you focused on today? And how are you going to do it better tomorrow? So everyone's kind of moving towards this process of, I've got to find a better way to do stuff, because if I do, it might actually make my life easier. And if that consciousness is apparent in your life every single day, then change just happens. It really does. It just happens around you.
All right, and finally, start with the end in mind.
Sometimes we look at Christmas as being the next milestone. I've got to get to Christmas or Thanksgiving or the holiday season or 1st of January, and that'll be my goal, and I'll write new goals. The reality is that's just a stepping stone to the rest of your life. So what are you going to do in 3 and 5 and 10 years' time? What do you look like when you grow up? Do you remember when you're at school, someone said, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
I want to be a television host. What do you want to be in 10 years' time or 15 years' time? And then work backwards to the bite-sized chunk, which is 2014.
I would like to play for the Yankees. I am running out of time. I've not given up, but I'm running out of time.
But do you still practice?
No. Jeter came along, and that was it for me. So much fun to have you on the show, Troy.
No worries.
Awesome to have you here. If people want to get this book, how do they do that?
Amazon's the best place to grab it, yeah.
Okay, and then if they want to reach out to you, you're based in South Florida.
Yeah, TroyHazard.com. Easiest guy in the world to find.
Okay, there you go. Great to have you here. Happy holidays, man.
Thanks, mate. You too.
Thank you, Troy. Coming up next, my conversation with the legendary Phil Collins. He's in South Florida to promote his foundation. We'll talk about that and his music when we come back.